So this is, just informal talking show. We're gonna come up with a better name for it.
We should stick with that.
Yeah, I stole these chairs from my dining room.
Yeah, they do feel like dining room chairs.
They feel good,
but they're really nice.
Yeah, Wayfair. So this is not only a baseball hitting tutorial show, but also for interior designers as well. But yeah, so we're gonna talk baseball, and then Chris, shout out anybody who asked questions. So I know you guys are all in school today, so if you guys see this later, sorry.
What time is it?
Oh, it's right in the middle of school.
11:20. Not many kids.
It's right in the middle of school day.
Kids getting in trouble right now.
Yeah.
For watching.
Cool. Well, let's get started.
All right.
Let's introduce you.
Sure.
This is Matt Antonelli from Antonelli Baseball. My name's Josh. I'm the owner of Play Crate. And why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I'll give a little bit of background. So, Matt Antonelli with Antonelli Baseball. I'll give a 2-second intro. Played college baseball, Wake Forest, back in 2004, 2005, 2006. So ways back. Was drafted out of Wake Forest by the Padres. Ended up going in the first round. Played for 8 years professionally. Played with 5 different teams. Padres for 5 years, then Nationals for a year, Orioles for like a few months, Yankees for a couple months, Indians for a couple months. So I kind of really bounced around for a little bit. But had a good experience playing for a bunch of teams, learned a lot, and now I'm coaching pretty much 11, 18-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people who are going to watch this, you're already going to know Matt because you see his videos. He's been on Play Crate a bunch of times. And I think he's the best hitting guy out there. There's a lot of really great ones out there right now. A lot of really, not great ones out there right now.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
There's just a lot of hitting guys in general.
Yeah, but that's what this show's for, right? We want to talk about everything that you should be doing or you shouldn't be doing. Tell you what it's like to go in the first round because I'm never gonna have that experience. I want to know what it's like. But kind of the cool thing about having Matt here. So, I said it earlier on the earlier video, but for this video, we grew up, really close to each other.
Yep.
You graduated 5 years ahead.
I graduated in 03 from St. John's.
5 years ahead of me. So think about, I'm like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old kid. I see Matt at the local batting cage all the time, always hitting off the tee, always getting his work in.
We ended up playing for the same travel ball team for a while too. You played Lightning for a long. How many years did you play Lightning?
I played Lightning 12 to 15.
Okay, so we were pretty much the same. So okay.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
Well, that was back in the day. We can get on this topic too. There used to be 4 travel ball teams in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
So we're from Massachusetts. If you don't know that, we're both from Peabody, Massachusetts, which for some reason is like a breeding ground for baseball players. I think.
Yep.
Right? Because in your year you had.
We had 2 guys go in the first round. Jeff Allison and myself.
Yeah. Then you had on the Peabody team.
Mark Shorey played professionally with us.
Yeah.
Ryan Mora, who played there was a lot of guys that year got drafted and played professionally, all in one little town.
So Peabody is,
Not a little town,
50,000, 60,000 people north of Boston. Keep in mind. So we don't play baseball year round. We have batting cages. Everyone just lives in a batting cage. So to have that type of people when I was young to look up to, like Matt and Jeff and all those guys, they were just around and they were all playing minor league and some major league baseball. So that was crazy. I was 13 when you were a senior. Mm-hmm. I remember going to his games and the game the prep versus Peabody.
Yeah.
And that was a crazy game. Did you go 4 for 4 off Jeff?
No, I didn't. I had you want to know? I went 2 for 3 off of Jeff, I think.
So 2 for 3.
And then 1 for 1 off of Ryan Moore, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what
happened. I don't know how either of us remember that because I don't remember any of my stats, but I remember your stats.
Well, that game was considered one of the biggest games in a long time for high school.
Yeah. So I'll set the stage for this. This was a divisional high school Massachusetts baseball game. Mm-hmm. No one really cares about. Over 100 scouts in the stands. I've never seen more radar guns in anything because the 2 teams that were playing. You guys had a ton of kids picked up from the prep. Tons of kids picked up from Peabody. Jeff Allison was throwing. He topped out at 98 when he was 18, and he was unbelievable. He's one of the best players to come out of Peabody.
He was considered the best high school player in the country and maybe one of the best in a while.
Yeah, he's
really
Sports Illustrated, everything. So, and then they have Matt. So they had all these first rounders and 2 first rounders, and then all these kids getting drafted in a high school Massachusetts baseball game. And like it's like a weird thing around here. People still talk about the game.
Yep. I get asked about it or talked about it like probably at least once a week, and the game happened almost 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Now you're dating both of us.
Oh my god.
But yeah, so I guess the point of the show is we'll talk about hitting. We'll talk about what it's like to play professionally. I had the opportunity to play for a few years independent ball. Shout out to all the independent guys. We could talk about that for a little while too, but that's like a completely different show if you guys want to talk about that. So it's similar to the minor leagues. You get paid, you travel around, but it's not nearly as pretty, I guess would say. You never went the indie ball route.
No, minor leagues ain't pretty either, but indie ball, I know that. Well, I'm interested to actually hear more about it because I actually don't know a ton about indie ball.
Well, we'll do another show, and we'll do all minor league and indie ball stories. Nothing major league, like the nitty gritty of how you travel, right? I'm sure you had crazy clubbies, and I've had terrible coach buses. We had someone steal my team bounced a check to the bus company. So during a game, the bus left and never came back.
Never happened.
That happened to us. And it had everyone's iPads and phones and like gear because we're all traveling at a 16-hour bus ride. So we had to sleep in the visitors clubhouse that night, and because if you bounce a check to a bus company, they didn't really afford hotels. So yeah, we've been stiff checks from teams and like that. We could have a whole episode on that.
You could write a book.
Yeah, we can write. We can do that, But yeah, that stuff's super fun to talk about. But I guess, what do you want to talk about today? We didn't even come to the show having, anything other than let's talk baseball.
We literally decided a few minutes ago, let's sit down and just chat.
Yeah, so we were doing, all these 60-second videos. What's turning the barrel? How far should I strike? Should my head move? Answering all the questions that, you guys want to know, that I'm still learning. Everyone's still learning. So we were doing all these videos. And then I got tired, so now we're sitting down and we're doing a show. This is going to be posted on YouTube. We'll tell you about it on Instagram and everything today. But why don't we talk about? I think what everyone want to know is what's it like getting drafted in the first round.
All right, let's go back to first. Go back to high school. This is where it kind of started. So I got drafted in the 19th round out of high school. And I wanted to play pro ball my whole life. I was told I was going to get drafted really high. I went in 19th round, and I was like, I don't know why this is weird, but I was so mad that I went in the 19th round.
That's ridiculously good.
And I think, because thinking back, it was kind of silly, but everyone tells you, you're going to go really high, and then you don't. And so, it was my goal from that point, literally, I said, I'm going to go to college, and I want to be a first-round pick. That was, my ultimate goal. And so when I finally got drafted on draft day, the first thing I would say, what'd you do with your money? I just spend all the big signing bonus and all that stuff. I literally, yeah, we'll make another video on that, stupid purchases. But literally, that's what everyone always asks me, and it's I didn't even think about how much I was going to sign for, what I was going to get paid. It was just something about my goal was trying to go as high as I could in the draft. And so when I got drafted, that was the thing that I was really, proud about is I set my goal in high school, in 3 years, I want to really improve my draft. So I want to be the best player I can be and get drafted really high. And so when it ultimately happened, that's what I was super pumped about. All the other stuff, I honestly didn't really care about it.
Yeah. Who was the first overall pick that year?
Luke Hochever, I think.
Right.
I believe was the first pick that year. If you go back and look at that draft class, I'm an absolute bum. There were Kershaw went before me. He was pretty good. Kershaw.
You're with me in a batting cage right now.
No, but I'm telling you got to go back and look at the guys that got. So I got drafted 17th. I don't know the order before me, but Longoria was before me. Kershaw, Lincecum. There was I don't even know. Go back and look. And then there was me, who played. I played 1 year. I had 1 year of Major League service time. I hit 200. I don't even know if I hit 200. I transitioned to say okay, now I got to try to get let's get going. And ultimately, I want to try to get to the Major Leagues and play for 15 years, which never happened.
Yeah. So you get drafted in June.
Drafted in June.
And then what's the process? Because season's already going. do you pick up? I mean, do you pick up all your stuff and you leave, or are they like, you have a couple weeks?
This is what happens. So you get drafted, you have a party or whatever, and then someone from the team flies in. It was actually the area scout of the Padres.
If you're in the first round, someone flies in.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what happens in other rounds. But so the area scout flew in, and they come to the house, and I didn't know this was gonna happen. They get there and say, like, he said, we're gonna sign you today, and I was like, okay. So I called my agent. I'm like, they said they're gonna sign me today, and he's like, what are you talking about? You're gonna sign you today? I'm like, oh, he said I'm signing today. So my agent's like, you're not signing today. I'm not there. Like, we literally, it was like the scout, me, my agent, on the phone the whole day. They sat at my house from like, I don't know, they came early in the morning. They didn't leave until probably like 7, 8 at night, and I signed that day.
Yeah.
I think I might have been the first rounder to sign, which is strange. Like some guys hold out for a while.
Because they're haggling price, they're haggling, everything. So it doesn't happen right when you get drafted. You're not on a team.
No, you gotta negotiate your price. Yeah. The negotiation literally went all day. They offered below slot value, which is basically the MLB puts like, slot value on each spot. They offered below it. My agent offered way above it. And you know what we ended at? After about 10 hours of negotiation? Slot value. Right on the number.
It was slot value.
It was like all day long negotiating, and we landed right on the slot value.
Because it's fair.
5 minutes.
Because it's fair.
Exactly. Well, ultimately, going into it, that's what you said. Like, that's what I said. I'm like, I don't want to rip anybody off. Like, I'm probably not even worth. Clearly, I wasn't worth that much money. But I was like, I want to just. Like, whatever's fair, let's sign it and let's go, because I want to start playing. So we did it one day, which is super fast. A couple days later, I flew to San Diego. I take BP with the team. I meet the big league team and everything. Do all that stuff. Do like a press conference, and then they fly you to wherever you're playing. I flew to Eugene, Oregon, and you get there, and team worked out like the next day, and then we start playing. Yeah. Like the season started pretty quick from draft day to when the season started. It's called short season A-ball. Is what I went to. And so that's basically just a bunch of guys that have been drafted. Yeah. Most of the team was drafted guys. Play half a season.
Do you remember like the first big leaguer you talked to? Like who was like a famous guy you walked in? And I saw him on TV, and I was in my living room a week ago, not on any team.
So the first time I really didn't know any major leaguers really like on a personal level. So when I got drafted and flown to San Diego, like I remember I walked in the clubhouse, and there was like Mike Piazza, Trevor Hoffman.
That's great.
Like all these guys. Dave Roberts was there. He was now obviously a really, really good manager. He was actually one of the first people I talked to. Like he came over and actually like talked to me for a couple minutes about being drafted and stuff. I was just the nicest guy in the world. Woody Williams, who was a pitcher a while ago. Like here's an interesting story. I didn't know I was supposed to bring anything out there. Like I got out there and they're like, all right, you're gonna hit BP, and I was like, I don't have a bat, I don't have anything. So I had to go around to major league players, and I had to grab Woody Williams gave me a pair of his cleats. Mike Piazza, like I'm not.
Why didn't you bring anything?
Because I shipped all my stuff.
Yeah.
Instead of bringing all my baseball stuff to San Diego and then having to get on another plane and go, I just sent everything.
First round problems.
I sent everything to Eugene. So everything went to Eugene. So I get to the stadium and they're like, hey, you're gonna work out with the team today. And I was like, I got nothing. So I had to go around to like all these major league guys, like, hey, batting gloves, anybody got batting gloves? So I like collected stuff from everybody, and then I went and hit with the team, and then I flew up. So
how'd you get?
So
that's because that has to be.
Here's another bad story. I'll tell you real quick.
That has to be nervous.
The only thing I didn't ask for, because I didn't want to be a pain, because I'm asking like for cleats and they give me pants, and I didn't ask for batting gloves.
Yeah.
I tore my hand up in about 15 swings and was bleeding so bad because I always have batting gloves. I got like these super soft hands. I bled after about 15 swings, and that was it. They were like, no more hitting for you.
Which in hindsight, it's probably way easier to get batting gloves than cleats.
I don't know why I didn't get batting gloves. I got all this stuff, and then I was like, oh, I'm too embarrassed to ask for batting gloves.
You're like, I want to be the tough guy.
Yeah, exactly.
With the man hand.
So I actually hit, to answer your question, I think I hit pretty well. I only took about 10, 15 swings. I know I hit at least one home run. I was trying not to hit and look. I'm just like, in there hitting real quick and then left. I know I hit it. I think I lit like a home run, but I hit well pretty hard, I think.
Nice.
So after they said, oh, great, oh man, like this guy looks good. I probably could have rolled over 15 times, and they weren't going to say that I sucked.
they just paid you.
They just paid me.
Slot value.
Exactly. So it okay.
No, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And I mean now you have all your teams, right? Because you're in the age group program.
Yep.
Do a ton of stuff online.
Yep.
So I mean, if you're watching this video, you're either watching it on Play Crate or you're watching it on Antonelli Baseball. So thanks for following. If you don't follow Antonelli baseball and you're signing up for Play Crate, go follow Matt, and because you can learn a ton from him. And me and him have had a ton of conversations, just kind of at like Starbucks or something like that. You remember that? We were talking about even when he was in the minor leagues, like coaches are teaching down to the ball, like all this kind of old school way of thinking, and now everyone's trying to get away from that old school way of thinking because now we have swing analytics and we have video tools.
Technology.
I mean, even when I was young, if you remember up at Extra Innings, they had this big monitor with a video camera on top. It was like 15 grand.
Yep.
It was.
I remember it was huge.
Yeah, I don't even want to say the name of the company because I don't know if they're still around. But I can't imagine. Now we have iPhones, and we can take video, instantly look at it. We can rewind. We can go slow mo.
Yep.
Like that wasn't even a thing 10 years ago, right?
No, it's unbelievable. I mean, now I can go on my computer and type in any player I want, any major league player, and watch his swing in slow motion in high def and see exactly what he's doing. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that very long ago.
Yeah.
So like, there's no more guessing. A lot of it, I think, what happened was before all this stuff. A lot of it's guessing. You're watching a guy hitting full speed, like the naked eye can't really decipher exactly what's going on. So a lot of it was just guesswork, and now all the technology's kind of taken the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, hitting is a really complex thing. Nobody has it completely figured out, but I think guys have it much more figured out now than 15, 20, 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think if you even align like people's hitting philosophies to the technology, it kind of makes sense, right? Because everyone had the same hitting philosophy because you pick out things you can see with the naked eye. You pick out like knob to the ball, which isn't inherently wrong, but there's a lot more that goes into it than just throwing your knob to the ball and hoping things happen. You might go through a motion, but that doesn't mean that you have to go. You're not going to stick an emotion here, and all you see is pictures like that.
Well, that's the thing. Well, the other thing is, if you think about back then, pictures were probably more prevalent than video, and so hitting used to be taught in like exactly like that, like almost like in a picture way, like step one, step two, and so the swing becomes really robotic. Yeah. There's no flow, or we talk about like the sequence of the swing stuff. You couldn't really pick out that stuff because there was no way to really tell what was going on. It's like
it's a swing. It's so fluid, and you're trying to create momentum from energy, and we can go into the rabbit hole with that, which we are going to do. Not today, but when I was growing up, it was feet, knees, waist, knuckles, knob, answer the phone. And that's why I've done it so many times.
I remember.
Feet, knees, waist, knuckles, knob, answer the phone. If most people, I don't even know if they still do this, but they used to write on your knocking knuckles, and they say, knock your bat. Those are the knuckles you're supposed to line up. So it was just like these really easy cues for people
that have been around for probably 100 years.
That have just been around for forever. You know what I mean? And now there's so much video and technology and everything where you can't fake it anymore because you can see people don't go down to the ball anymore. They have a much different swing path. So people have to say truthful things now or they're going to get called out.
Yep.
And I think that's a big change because right when people started having more video and more access to these things and analytics and even like sabermetrics, it just completely turned the game on its head. Now there's two schools and it's like a war between these two schools of thinking.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important, and this is one of the things I talk about is you've got kind of like the old school and then the new school. And even with some of the information out, like with the new school, sometimes I feel like if you're thinking about a spectrum of things, they're really like way over here. I think it's somewhere, like the truth is always kind of like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like there's some people taking some of the new ideas and going really, really far with it. Like we talked about like being slightly up through the zone.
Yeah.
Like you have to be careful also. Like you can take a good thing and say up through the zone. Okay, let's get up through the zone. You see some of that.
Yeah.
We talked about like hit the ball at the top of the net.
Yeah.
Hit the ball at the top of the net. But some people are trying to hit the ball at the top of the net, like right there. So it's interesting where it's going.
I think people want to have a black or white. They want to have it's binary. They want either a 1 or a 0. Yeah. Do I go down to the ball or do I go up to the ball? And the truth is it's a lot of gray area.
Yeah,
and not that it's subjective, but it's the more you learn about the swing, the less you feel like you know about a swing. And because it leads you on this different path, and you say, oh, well, is this the actual way of doing things, or is this just the way that people have been telling me?
Right.
I think it's a really cool time for baseball right now. In terms of like swing mechanics and everything, And that's why people are watching this video. You know what I mean? Because you guys want to learn. What's the right way of doing things? You guys watch a million videos, which is fantastic, and keep watching those. But if you have no reference point to make use of it, then what's the point of watching it? Right. You know me for too long. I've always been pretty energetic. Short guy in the clubhouse. There's always one.
Yep.
It's your second baseman. It could be your catcher. But those are, lefty pitchers. Those are kind of like the weird people. Mm-hmm. The second basemen are the guys. Those are the guys you want to hang out with, right?
That's true.
What were
your second baseman?
Your second baseman. But you were also a hot chocolate guy, which is a completely different thing. Why don't you drink coffee?
I just hate the taste of it.
You don't like milk, or?
I just don't like coffee. I love milk. I'll have a cup of milk. That's fine.
Yeah,
chocolate milk, actually. I'm a big chocolate guy. Listen, I've tried to take coffee, and like my wife drinks I don't know, something from Dunkin' Donuts where she said it doesn't taste like coffee.
Yeah.
Anyone that's ever said it to me, like they always say, "Oh, put this in. It doesn't taste like coffee. It tastes like coffee."
I like the taste of coffee.
I hate the taste.
I like it.
You like coffee ice cream?
I love coffee ice cream.
Yeah, I hate coffee ice cream.
I love coffee ice cream.
I hate coffee.
In the comments, whatever video you guys are watching, I want to know if you guys drink coffee, and then eventually we're gonna make Matt.
Listen,
drink a cup of coffee.
Like we can make another video on this, but I'm one of the few people that doesn't drink coffee. I hate eggs. I don't like cheese on most things. So
that eliminates all the.
We can make a really long video on the foods I don't like.
Those are things that I've had all of those this morning.
Chicken fingers are pretty.
That's what I exactly just named my breakfast.
I can't even I can't be around eggs at all. That's probably one of my least. That's my least favorite.
Well, what do you? Let's lead into like a physical regimen, right?
Sure.
So when you were in minor league ball and you're eating waffles and hot chocolate, and major leaguers are drinking, Evan Longoria is drinking protein shakes, and eating egg whites, and you're in the corner, what are you doing?
Talking about what I'm eating?
Yeah, what do you eat?
So I eat the same food every day. Here's a fun fact for you. When I was in Syracuse playing for AAA with the Nationals, there was a Chipotle right next to the stadium, or right near the stadium. I ate Chipotle every home game.
I can do that.
Like every home game. So that's what I do. I just pick out like 5 foods I like, and I eat them every single day.
Mexican food's good food.
Oh, I shouldn't say it. I eat quesadillas, got cheese, can't do quesadillas. So I can't say I love Mexican, but I love a Chipotle burrito. Love it.
This is crazy.
Strange.
This is crazy.
It's easy. Just pick out the same things. I eat bagel every day for breakfast, bagel or cereal, every single day. And then for lunch, like chicken or like steak. That's pretty much my go-to for every meal. Chicken or steak.
Yeah. So actually, this leads into a really good topic.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna give so Eric Cressy.
Yeah.
You know Eric Cressy,
I know Eric Cressy.
right? So I'm gonna give him some props right now. He's an amazing,
terrific,
amazing strength and conditioning coach. Has well over 100 professional baseball players, I think, right now. And
really good professional baseball players.
Yeah, like really good.
Yeah.
And so he had a really good post. This was like a year ago, and it's stuck in my head. And what he said was, how can you pay someone millions of dollars and feed them peanut butter and jelly and cereal between games?
I say this all the time.
And I thought about it, I was like, that makes absolutely no sense. How you can invest millions of dollars in a player, and then between games or for their spread, like what you're feeding them is bargain food. Why wouldn't you feed them something that's going to let them perform like $1 million player?
Think about. I always talk about this. Think about how much, right? So the minor league system, the team that can get more minor leaguers to become big leaguers, the amount of money you save as a club, instead of spending $15 million for, or $10 million or whatever now salaries are for like a half decent big league free agent, if you can get a young guy to move through the system and play basically at minimum salary, that saves you how many millions of dollars? I don't know the numbers, tons of millions of dollars. So we're trying to developing minor leaguers is huge. But like when you think about like what you eat and how much money you get paid and what you get for food, like it's mind-boggling how guys eat peanut butter and jelly. That's basically their lunch. Their dinner is going to be McDonald's because they only get a few bucks, You know, you have a few dollars.
Yeah.
When you stop on the road, like when you drive to the next stadium, you almost always pull over at a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, and a Burger King, and like that's your food.
Yeah.
Your breakfast is usually going to be like whatever the hotel's serving, and the hotels you're staying at are not very good.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff is like ridiculous.
Yeah. So my meal stipend was $25 a day.
25 in indie ball?
In indie
I
ball,
was
20
But
bucks.
only on the road. You only got that on the road.
We
right?
only got it on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not at home.
If you're at home, we used to get. Well, I mean, like I used to play in Fort Worth, Texas, and Cameron Monger, shout out to Cam Monger. He'll be in here in a couple weeks. But they would take all the leftover food every single night from concessions and bring it downstairs. So we had sausage, burger, hot dog for 100 games.
I would have taken that at a certain
We
level.
played 100 games in like 100 and I don't know, 15 days or something like that. We had a couple. We played 7 days a week, and then occasionally we'd have like a Monday for travel. But I mean, basically we would have a night game. We would drive all night, and then we'd skip BP the next day, take a nap in the clubhouse, and then play that night. But yeah, I mean,
it's really similar to the low minors.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, most of the guys. I think we had 34 people on the roster. 30 of them were minor league guys. A lot of them bounced back and forth. It's this like weird underground baseball, you know, society where everyone in the system knows how it works, but anyone outside the system doesn't even know what it is.
Real quick, well, I don't want to interrupt you, but
you're interrupting me.
But I'm going to interrupt you. We can go into this. I'm just interested. What do you get paid a month in independent ball?
All right. So when I was a rookie, I played in. I'm not even gonna name the leagues.
Yeah.
But I can name one of the leagues. So the United League. I don't even know if it's a league anymore. That was my first one. Someone hurt their knee, and the coach called me. His name was Von Hayes. He was a 14-year big leaguer, all-star. Just like I couldn't have asked for a better manager. He called me, said, "Come in, play second base, and we'll see how you do." I went on like a tear for like a week. They released the guy who hurt his knee, and that was like my start. Someone hurt their knee. My starting salary was $500
a month.
A month.
A month.
$500 a month.
And that's only in season.
Yeah.
And the season's how many months? 5?
Yeah, the seasons. I think indie ball is 4 months. We had about 100 game schedule.
So you made $2,000 for the year?
$2,000.
Big
And
time.
then I didn't have, but I was the lowest of the low. It was a pretty low league.
But still, you're considered a professional player.
You're considered a professional player.
For
and
$2,000
then
a year.
Yeah, so then I was like 22 at the time, or 21. And I did well in that league, so then I went up to the Frontier League, and that's how I ended up going to the Frontier League. And then they pay you, pay you more in the Frontier.
$1,000 a month?
Yeah. I mean, not even. I think I got a raise to like 800 because I was considered a rookie since I
3,200. I'm good at math. 3,200 a year.
But I was like, snacks on me, like. and then I think the cap is 1,600 a month. So if you're a veteran, for the best player, you can't pay more than 1,600. But I mean, we had a brand new stadium, like I don't know, $6 million stadium.
Really? You got paid enough?
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, like indie ball and minor league ball, you're in the middle of nowhere because all the major league teams are in big cities. So there's all these baseball fans in the middle of nowhere, and that's where they put these minor league stadiums. So you see crazy places when you travel. And I was I played in Louisiana, Missouri, Texas, Kentucky, Illinois, Florida, everywhere, and you do the same thing. So you have this like really weird way of seeing the country on a very small budget, which makes you appreciate kind of smaller things, I guess.
Sure.
I didn't have the signing bonus like you.
Well, listen, when you go through the minors and like with independent ball, I'm sure when you're moving up, like when you go from low minors or getting paid, like I think my first year I got paid 11. I think I got $1,100 a month that first year. When I got to AAA and I was getting paid like $2,300 a month, it was like you think about, I'm getting paid like probably $11,000 for the year, and it's like what a raise! Like this is unbelievable. The things I can buy.
You can stretch it.
Well, you have to, or else you're in big trouble.
Yeah, because when I was making like not a lot of money, they put you up in housing because that was number one. You don't have to travel.
Oh, see, I had to pay for housing in a lot of places I was at.
Well, sometimes like in minor league, they take like $400 out for rent or something, right?
It all depends. Like sometimes you get host families, sometimes you get a hotel where they take money out. Sometimes you just got I had to get an apartment in AA, I had to get an apartment in AAA, had to get an apartment in low A. So I have to take that money that I'm getting paid. Like in low A, I think I made like $1,200 a month. I had to go find an apartment and pay for it. It's like, how do you pay for an apartment with $12,000?
And
well, that's why if you look at my minor league thing, or my time there was 4 of us. Were we all in the same room? I was only in low A for like a couple of weeks. I think we might have all been in the same room. Like, it's really crazy living conditions. Because you have to just jam as many guys in the apartment as you can.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you think, not in minor league ball, you're making some money at least, right? In any ball, you make a little bit of money. We could have a whole entire thing on summer ball for collegiate players.
Yeah.
So, where'd you play?
Cape Cod.
Every
Both
year?
years.
Yeah.
2 years.
So I was on, I don't know if you know, I was on Born Braves my freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was on them for a little bit, and then I was on the Valley League in Harrisonburg. So our home field was JMU, and that was right when they put turf down. It was like the most beautiful place. So if you stick with baseball, you see a lot of different stadiums and a lot of different states. What was your favorite stadium, favorite state, favorite place to be?
In the minors, we're just talking minors or majors?
Yeah, I mean, go minors and then go majors. Because, I think we should have a whole entire talk about what's it like to walk into a major league stadium your first game. That's an unbelievable experience.
Yeah.
I would assume.
I actually got yelled at by a player the first time. What question do you want me to answer first?
I want you to do minor league. What's your favorite places in minor league that you've been? Favorite town?
Well, typically in the low minor leagues, you're in the towns are like, you've never heard of them. So it's really tough to say in the low minor leagues. I almost have to go up to like AAA.
Yeah.
Because in AAA, then you finally get into bigger cities. Like I spent a lot of time in Portland, Oregon, which I'd never been in the Northwest before. Portland was awesome. Where else? Texas, we had some pretty cool places in Texas that we went to.
What were the cities in Texas?
Corpus Christi. I was in San Antonio, which it was just not. Yeah, it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Where else in Texas? Houston area. I guess that's Corpus Christi area.
So I'll tell you what we did in Fort Worth. This is what we did on Monday nights. We used to go. We used to have a game. We used to go to Applebee's because they had half-off apps.
Yep.
That's the only reason. That was the only place open in Texas where we were. It was like in the town over was Saginaw, Texas. Mm-hmm. It's in Country Songs.
Fine little town.
We used to go to this. We'll call it a restaurant.
Yeah.
And we used to go turtle racing.
Turtle racing.
So they used to number the turtles 1 to 10, and they used to put them all in the middle and put a bucket over them, and then someone would say go. They'd lift the bucket, and there's a big circle on the outside.
That's
the
awesome.
first turtle around, everyone had to put in $5, and the winner of the turtle got all the money.
I love it.
I didn't know that was a thing, but that's you get exposed to some weird stuff. When you get to travel a lot. So, did you have anything like that? Turtle races?
I've never seen turtle races. I'll have to think about that weird stuff like that in the minors. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that happens, but I've never had turtle races.
That's great, right?
Yeah,
I love that. Maybe we'll have a turtle race on here one day.
You know my first major league experience when I got yelled at? I'd been in a big league stadium for like 5 minutes.
So I want the 5 minutes.
Well, I was just going to tell you one story. It was my first, I got yelled at literally by a player on our team 5 minutes into being in a big league stadium.
Yes, definitely tell it.
I'm not going to say who said it.
You can tell me after.
I'll tell you. So you make your debut, like, you fly in. I flew in, like, super early. Like, basically, I got up early, got on the plane, flew in, and then, like, we're playing the Dodgers, so we're playing at Dodger Stadium, and, like, there's a lot of stuff going on in your head. Like, I didn't even know I was getting called up. You get called up, I show up, I'm thinking I'm not playing today. I walk in, like, you walk to the manager's office, the lineup's there, and then I see that I'm playing, and now I'm playing in the game tonight. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Then you walk in, you talk to the manager. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm trying to, like, kind of take it all in. I go, we get ready for BP. Dodgers are on the field hitting. I'm in the dugout, kind of just looking around.
Yeah. Let me stop you for one second. I don't want to interrupt. But like, when you saw your name, and that was you knew you were making your big league debut that day.
Yeah.
Did you call your dad?
Nope.
Did you do anything?
Well, no. When I got told I was getting called up. So what happened? I was in AAA.
Yeah.
The game ended, and they say usually when this happens, you're either getting cut or get called up. So someone came over, one of the coaches said, "Hey, Skip wants to see you in the office." So like usually when that happens, that's happened to me a couple times. Most of the times it's you're getting released. It happened to me like 3 times.
Released.
It happened one other time. They asked me if I could play catcher, which basically is like, we're going to release you soon. When someone asks you in the middle infielder, can you catch? Because
if your coach tells you to catch,
you know you're getting released.
Start weighing your options.
So when he said that, and it was the end of the season, I knew I wasn't going to, it was pretty much the end of the season. It wasn't the last game, it was close to the end of the season. I knew I wasn't getting released. So I was like, maybe I'm going up. So then they tell you, they're like, congrats, you're getting called up. Then I went and called my parents and stuff. Called my wife, who at the time was my girlfriend. And so that's when I talked to her. When I actually got into the stadium, like, I don't think I called anyone and said I'm starting.
Yeah. But they knew because they they were all there. They flew in for it, so they knew they were at the game. So yeah,
they found out that I was playing. And so anyways, so I walk in the dugout and I get out there, and a player on our team, like, I don't know, I must have looked again, like, a lot of stuff's going on.
Well, how old were you at the time?
I was 22. 20, hold on.
22.
No. 21, got drafted, 22. I just turned 23. I turned 23 that summer.
Yeah. I'm eating tuna fish in the back of a broken down bus in Louisiana, and he's in a big league stadium.
So I'm like, I'm already kind of nervous, Anyone that tells you like they're not, I feel like if anyone tells you they're not nervous in the first major league game, like they're nervous. And this player on our team who's a veteran comes out to me and basically gets in my face and he's like, I'll say it in nicer words, but he said like, you look like, what's wrong with you? You look like your effing dog just died. Like you're making your debut. Like get your head out of here. You know what? And like I was like, okay. I didn't say anything. I was like, okay. And then I walked and I got ready and like, I still don't know why I looked like.
Maybe you were just serious because you wanted to do well. I don't know.
Yeah, and I just got like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think there's too many guys that make their debut that are like running up and down the dugout like making a scene.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, he laid into me like literally. I've been in the dugout for like 2 minutes getting ready for stretch in my first major league game.
How'd you do?
I got to hit my first at bat.
Opposite field.
Right back up the middle. So I was facing Greg Maddox, who's a pretty good pitcher.
I saw that video actually.
Saw that video? Yeah, right up the middle. So
no big deal. First game, 23 years old. Hits off of Greg Maddox.
So it was weird.
That's crazy.
I get this. So I didn't hit the first inning. They had me hitting 8th, right in front of the pitcher. They would have hit me 9th if there wasn't a pitcher. So I go out and play second base. Russell Martin's up for he led off for the Dodgers, and he hits a really hard ground ball right at me, like first batter of the game. And I was like really nervous. I fielded the ball, and once I looked and saw that I had it in my hand, I was like, I went from nervous to like, it was weird, like relaxed. Threw the ball first, got him out, and then it was like a normal game.
Because it's the same game.
But before that, it was not the same game.
Yeah.
When I'm out there waiting, I was like thinking the whole time, like, if he hits me this ball, don't F it up on your first like major league play. And then when I got it, threw it, and I was like, oh god, I can feel the ground ball.
So if you feel the ground ball, it's the same.
It's the same ground ball. It was hit pretty hard, but it's the same ground ball. Like, it's the same game, but it is like they say, like it's a faster game.
Yeah.
It's faster because those dudes like square the ball up a lot more.
Yeah.
They hit it harder.
Yeah.
But you've also, it's not like you're going from
the best fields.
You're in a beautiful field.
Yeah.
But you're also not going from college right to the big leagues. Like you slowly transition. So like there's big strong dudes at AAA.
Yeah.
And so like you're not to say you're used to
Yeah.
it, but you get used to the speed of the
Yeah.
game. So when I got up my first at bat, like I had no nerves, nothing. Like it was really strange. I was so nervous in the field until I made that play. I got up at the plate. I felt like it was a regular
It's
game.
a ball coming over the plate.
That's it. And it was Greg Maddox. Actually, the good thing was, at that time he was only probably throwing like, I don't know, wasn't throwing hard. 84 maybe.
Yeah, but just pinpoint.
I literally think he was throwing mid-80s. I don't know. We can go back and watch. But it was just like a lot of movement on like this sinking fastball. And all I saw was 3 fastballs. I saw a strike, a ball, I think it was, and then a strike, and I hit it. So, yeah.
You had your Peabody fans in the stands, the crew, and they went crazy.
There?
Yeah.
At that game, no. At that game, there was, I don't actually remember who was there. I know my parents were there. I know my wife was there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone else came out that game. You know where I had a lot of people come down to is when I played we played the Nationals like a month later or so. That's where a lot of people drove down.
Yeah.
But nobody, I don't think really any of my other family members or friends or anything like that.
Did you ever get to play Fenway?
Never played a major league game. Played a AAA game. They played 2 AAA.
I played in the Cape there too.
Played in the Cape. We had like workouts and stuff there. Never played a major league game. The only time I was in the American League, when I was with the Orioles, that was my one chance, my pretty good chance in the American League to get called up. I didn't get called. I didn't play very well. But I was mostly, Padres for most of my career, and then Nationals for a year, and so I didn't have a lot of American League time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Interesting stuff.
Big leaguer, 23 years old.
I should actually add this real quick. I got to hit my first at bat. I didn't get another hit for like 20 at bats.
Did you get sent back down?
No, I didn't. I can tell you a lot of crazy stories. Let me tell you the story real fast.
Tell me, take your time. We're not even on a time limit.
I got called, so after my first game, I probably should go back and tell this, but in the minor leagues that year, I had my worst year of my life before I got called up. I forgot how to hit. And about 3/4 of the way through the year, one of my buddies,
you did tell me this.
I told you the story.
You did tell me.
So he basically, no one could help me. Everyone tried to help me. I could not hit. Totally forgot how to hit at 22 years old. One of my buddies basically said, I'm going to show you how to hit. He's on the team. He's a veteran, won a World Series. He's like, I'm going to show you. He's like, you're not doing this and this and this. You got to do this.
And what? You were going down to the ball.
Well, I had a bad path. I had really bad posture. I was diving into the plate. I had a lot of stuff going on, and I had no idea I was doing any of it at the time. And actually, a lot of stuff that I talk about now that I learned from this guy. His name's Sean Wooten. Really, he was actually with the Dodgers this past year as a hitting coach. Was up in the wasn't the head hitting coach, but was up in the World Series with them this past year. So he was the first guy that explained all this stuff to me. And we would sit in our hotel room. He was my roommate on the road. We sit in a hotel room, and I'd get a broomstick or something, and we'd go through all this stuff. And I swear, you look at my stats. I hit 160, I think, for the first 3/4 of the year.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. I should have been sent down. The only reason I wasn't because I was first round pick. And I'd always hit over 300 at every other level in the minor, everything. And so that last month, I hit 3-something again.
Yeah.
I literally went from not being able to hit to raking the last month. So I finally figured out my swing.
He told you, that was my question. What did he tell you?
So what we did was, some of it was where my weight was distributed. So I ended up getting really, really, I would be way back here, and I would stride into the plate, and then I would just kind of spin.
Yeah.
My bat, everything I did, my bat would be around the ball. I hit every ball down the third base line or foul. And so he helped me understand my body, how to get in better posture, how to get my weight gathered better, how to not just kind of collapse back, how to stride straight, simple stuff, but explain bat path to me. No one had ever told me bat path. I didn't even know what bat path was. I just swung.
Yeah.
If someone asked me back then, do you swing like this to the ball, like this, I would just tell them what everyone told me.
I get hits.
Well, no, I would tell them what everyone else did. You want to be down to the ball.
Yeah.
You want the same stuff. That's what I would probably have told them back then. I had no clue. So he explained all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's what everyone defaults to if you don't know what you're talking about, you just talk about what everyone else is talking about.
Right, exactly.
But we have the camera here. We have a plate. We can stand up.
You want me to show exactly?
Yeah, just show it real quick.
Okay.
If you want. If you want to move that chair.
I'll try to give my own. So what I was doing really poorly, I was doing a bunch of stuff. So one, I would load and I would be way back here. I would stride into the plate a lot. So I had this wrong, and then my upper body was really I was really kind of pushy. This elbow I didn't have this.
So you're missing from here on.
Yeah, and my bat would go like this. My bat went across, so go like this. I'd get here, and then I would spin and be stuck back here. My hands came way out here. I'd push this way, and then they would cut across. So I would wear out the third baseman.
Yeah.
I hit 1,000 top spinners to the third baseman.
That's the worst feeling.
Or when I really knew something was wrong, for most of my career, we just talked about this a few days ago with the guy. If I got a good hittable pitch most of my career, I hit it. That was one of the good things I could do. I could square the ball up. That year, I kept fouling balls back.
Yeah.
So I struck out a ton, and the reason was I couldn't put the ball. I was always too straight, so I foul all the way every hittable pitch, and then I strike out on tough pitches. And so my path was just so poor. I was down to the ball a little bit and across the ball. I was cutting across everything. So he literally, we just worked on a bunch of stuff. He talked to me about having better posture.
Yeah.
He was the first one that talked to me about how your bat works into the zone.
Yeah.
And so once you start to get an idea of what you're trying to do, then I got it. I was okay, so this is what I'm trying to do. I didn't know what I was trying to do before.
Yeah.
I always tell the kids, like, I always just hit my whole life. No one really said anything to me about hitting, except for the normal stuff.
Because you get hit.
Because I could hit.
There wasn't a problem.
I always hit. There's no problem. So I knew nothing about hitting except for I just knew that I take this thing, he throws it, I hit it. That's what I did my whole life.
I wish it was that easy
Now
for
here's
everybody
the,
else.
but here's the problem. When that goes away, what do you do?
Yeah.
This is the hard part. This is why I tell all the kids they have to learn their swing
Yeah.
and understand like what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
Because that went away, and you know what the advice was to every person that called me up and talked to me, everyone's advice was this: why don't you go back to doing what you used to do? That's
what I'm trying to do.
Genius. What was I doing?
Yeah.
That's what I would say. What was I doing?
It's like when a pitcher's throwing and they're like, throw strikes! He's like,
That's what I'm trying to do.
yeah. Oh yeah, I wasn't trying to.
Exactly. So that was the problem. So I had no like reference point. I had nothing to go back to because I had no idea about the swing. So he was the first one. We watched a ton of video, and he was like, "See how you did this back then? Like now look how you're doing this." And so I look back to my old swings now, and like I was like, "Man, that's a pretty swing." Like I was doing things right, but I didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah. And you still made it to the major leagues.
Well, so that's what the story is. So let's go back to the story real quick. So this is what happened. So he fixed everything with me. Like, didn't just try to put Band-Aid on, like literally fixed me. I hit 300 the last month of the year, and I was hitting rockets everywhere. I remember I hit in the cage one day, and everyone on the team, I showed up, I hit in the cage. It was the greatest I hit in probably a year.
Yeah.
And everyone starts running over and going, "He's back!" They're like, "He's back!" And I was like, "I'm back, man." I'm like, "Oh, what?" So like it was unbelievable. So I get called up, right? I get called up. I get to hit my first at bat. I ground out the next 2 or 3 at bats. I think I finished 1 for 4.
Yeah.
I went 1 for 3 against Maddox. I think they brought in Jonathan Broxton or somebody, and I grounded out to end the game. And I get called into the office afterwards, and they said, the hitting coach said, "Hey, tomorrow, like, show up early. We've got to change your swing." And I was like, I literally was like, "Oh
Just
no!"
figured it out.
I literally just spent like a month. Pretty much a month every day working on my swing, finally getting it what I thought was fixed.
Yeah.
At least to give me a chance to be successful. And then they said, "We're going to change your swing," and I was like, "This is terrible." I went 0 for that 3, so 1 for 1 over 3, and then I literally went like 0. I think I was 0 for 21, 0 for 23.
What did they tell you?
So the big thing that they did.
So you went from kind of spinning off balls, going down the ball and stuff, to really making an adjustment.
Pretty good path.
In the back of your swing, good
The
bat
old-
path.
What they told me, let me move this chair again. Now this is interesting. It was actually, like, so when I think about a lot of the stuff that Sean helped me do, I think about like if you're looking at a car, like changing more of like the engine, like the main things that are causing all this stuff to happen. And then like, but one of the things that I did was, by getting in good position, I'd always been kind of in this position where I was a little lower, a little wider, and I had my chest over the plate. I'd be here. And so when I went in there, they said, "We want you to bring your feet together, and we want a leg kick because you need more rhythm." Because what they were saying was, and this is kind of something they always said, but because I always hit really well,
Yeah. You
I
kind of
never
got
hit like
rigid.
so I was like this. I was more of a rigid, I guess a rigid. I was wider, I was lower, I had my elbow up like this, and I had very little movement. So if you look at my swing, if you go on YouTube and check out my swing from the minors,
I saw you were in the cage, it was like Matt Antonelli's off-season swings. And it
No,
was it was lasers though.
but
your
that
swing looked good.
that
on
was later. That's when I was trying to rework it again.
Your swing looked good on that. But you were very kind of like wide here.
Well, I tried to go back to doing what I did when I was successful.
Yeah.
You know. So that's what I was always like this. This is kind of like my swing right here. And I would go. I had very little movement. And I'm not saying that's the only way to do it, but that's just the way that I had done it, and I was really successful with
They
it.
wanted you to be here.
So then they said they didn't like that, and they wanted me. And this wasn't the first time. Go back to that AAA year. In spring training, they were trying to get me to do this, and that's when I really fell apart in AAA.
Yeah.
And then when I worked with Sean, we went back to a lot of this.
Yeah.
So if you look at my first major, if you go on YouTube right now and click in like Matt Antonelli's first hit, this is what I look like. I look like this
I remember
because
seeing it.
I was trying to get back to what I did,
Yeah.
and I was having success. Without knowing it, I was going more and more and more.
Yeah.
To the time when I got to major leagues, I was really low, but to go from that, all the work I did put into that, to them being told after one game, "We need you here, hear rhythm and hit at the major league level. The next day we faced Clayton Kershaw, my game 2 against Clayton Kershaw. And so I was trying, like very quickly, I'm trying to hit major league pitching while thinking, okay, when the hell do I pick I'm trying to do a leg kick. Like, when do I get my foot off the ground? I couldn't hit to save my life.
That's not the time to work on.
Really hard.
Middle of the season.
Really hard.
And they're like, hey, remember that thing you're doing where you're here, you're nice and balanced? We're going to just pick up a leg kick against Cleveland.
And the other tough thing, like,
ridiculous.
It's really hard. And I don't want to talk, like, I really stunk for a lot of my career, so, like, a lot of it was my fault. But with thinking about that, like, one thing they always told me was, like, don't worry about, like, literally, you're going to try this. Don't worry about your stats. Don't worry if you go 0 for 100. Like, it's all in the long run is good. But it's really hard when you're making your debut and you're 23 and you go 0 for 20 something and everyone starts saying, you suck, man. Like, you're terrible. And you're hitting 0-37. Like, everything's on television. Like, there's a lot of...
And then you have, like, the super fans, too. They
Exactly.
all know who you are.
Exactly.
They know that you got drafted first round.
And I really struggled that year. And, like, anytime I don't know if it had an effect down the road, but like, you gotta think that people look at and be like, God, he really struggled in his major league time. Like, a lot of people say like major league was just too much for you. Like, I don't know if it's too much. I was trying like 20 different things at the major league level, which makes it really, really tough.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think that probably has, from a coaching point, swing changes. Like, the off season is the time for major swing changes. Like, in season, it's tough sometimes to make like super big swing changes in season. You know?
Don't make swing changes against Clayton Kershaw.
That is difficult to do. And I think it was actually, he was really young. It might have been his rookie year.
Yeah.
He got drafted the same year.
Yeah.
And he was out of high school.
Yeah.
He made it up like really
Oh,
fast.
so he was super young.
He was really young because I was 23 and he's 4 years younger than me, I think.
Yeah.
Is he 4 years younger than me? I'm going to be 33 soon. So is he 29? He might be somewhere around there. So, anyways, that's a long story, I guess, but interesting.
A good story though, because number one, I learned a lot from it. Because I mean, I knew half of it, but I didn't know the full thing. Because I mean, what this show's for is what are those details? What were you doing that you weren't having success with?
Right.
And then when you changed it, don't just say, I didn't just change it. What did you change? You told us, you worked on bat path more and you stopped spinning off the ball. So whether you're at a little league level, high school, college, and all the way up to major leagues, everyone's still making adjustments.
Yep.
Everyone's still nervous. Everyone's still trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important for people to know. Like, major leaguers don't have it figured out just because they're in the major leagues.
No, most guys, even the best players that you see, are working on stuff every day.
Yeah.
They might not be, like, my example is different because they want me to change, like, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But everyone's working on something small.
Yeah.
Like, every time they go into the cage, they don't just go into the cage and say, oh, I'm just going to go swing today.
Yeah.
Like, they're always working on something small.
Yeah, cool. Well, I think that's a good place to end. So, if we have an ask of you guys, if you learned anything from here, start small. Just like Matt said, that was a long, it was a great story to tell you, you can't do everything at once, especially against Clayton Kershaw. But pick different parts of your swing to work on at one time and really, try to get everything conceptually as a whole. But you can only work on one or two things at once. Exactly. Really understand that and then keep progressing forward. You know what I mean?
Don't overload this system.
Don't overload and don't try to do a leg kick against Clayton Kershaw. Once again, I'm Josh. I'm the owner of Play Crate. This is Matt Antonelli from Antonelli Baseball. If you're not following Matt, he does tons of hitting tutorials and videos and everything. You can learn about everything he just said. You can follow him on YouTube at Antonelli Baseball.
YouTube is actually, just type in Antonelli Baseball. It's a long story.
Type in Antonelli Baseball. He's got tons of awesome hitting videos.
Instagram is at Antonelli Baseball.
Instagram's
Twitter is Matt Antonelli 9.
Yeah, Matt Antonelli 9. If you guys are on Twitter. And then follow Play Crate. If you guys don't know what Play Crate is, it's a monthly box of baseball gear and training aids, and pretty much we have different grips and pine tar and a bunch of different stuff. But shoot us a line. Let us know what you think about the video and ask us questions, and get out there and do some work today. Thanks.
Perfect.